You ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Raise your hands up, raise them up.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Forex Trading Asia Daily Currency Call, episode 297, 25th of May today. Yep, so this is the currency call where you will get market economic updates, key support resistance levels, trade ideas, and more. And this currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. Here we will be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risks. So a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. All right, let's start things off with the dollar index. So we have Scott here, Scott Andrews from Forex Briefcase Australia, to share his outlook on the dollar index. Scott.
All right. Hi, everyone. And thanks for joining us. And shout out to all the new visitors as well. I'm seeing some new names and welcome back to the regulars too. So look, US dollar. And I mean, we did see some more selling off as well. So I'll just bring up the charts thanks to Sam Trade. And a few talking points. We are approaching the recent low at 89.65. And, really what I'm waiting for is, and from the perspective of will it break down, where obviously the US dollar, we're talking about US CAD, we're seeing what that's doing, USD Swiss as well. A lot of that is mentioned in Forex Trading Asia as well by the analysis team. And, you've really got to put a compelling case together to say that it's going to really take quite a bit to move this through 89.60 or so. And it's been testing, but the range continues, and we're going to have to see something dramatic to shift the flow to, continued US dollar selling. And we did see a lift in the equity markets last night as well. Cryptos as well caught a bounce. So the risk sentiment is back. But then if you go and have a look at, just the NASDAQ futures, for example, or the VIX, you can see this flip-flop in regards to investor sentiment. So it's very much more likely, and that's what we look for, a high probability setups to say that, that 89.60 level is definitely more of a buying opportunity. Now, what I am paying attention to as well, we've got the Conference Board Consumer Confidence data that's coming out at 10 o'clock tonight, GMT +8 Singapore time. And we've also got the new home sales data as well. So let's see how the market reacts to that. I mean, things are a bit crazy in the markets as well. So we could see the market just become a little bullish and risk on continued. And then we could see, the US dollar fall through. But, with a tight stop with the US dollar with a bounce, I'm seeing that as a more likely result. But I will have to wait later into the session before I jump into that potential trade.
All right, thank you, Scott, for that. So looking at a more probable bounce up at the dollar index. So with that, we'll jump into the currency call, which is Euro, the currency Euro today, as it's Tuesday today. So I'm going to get Daniel here, Daniel from LCMS Traders, trading coach at LCMS Traders, to share a little bit about the Euro USD and the upcoming news events that will happen for the Euro. Daniel.
Hey, thank you, Jiwei. Okay, let's look at what's happened in the calendar this week for the Euro. Okay, so looking at it here, Tuesday for Euro, we have the German GDP numbers, all the German data coming in, business expectations, business climate index, all coming in. You have but they look at it, the GDP is still for Q1 is still forecast to be a negative number. So looking at it, although Euro has been looking very optimistic, on recovery. Nevertheless, data shows that they are still not out of the woods yet. It's still on a right now. It's a negative as contraction. It's still negative means it's contraction itself. So we have to watch out for it. I don't think there will be much surprises here. The probably recovery will come in Q2 data or Q3 data in it. Now looking at this euro news here. Remember, you have the home sales coming in. It's of course not doing pretty well. 970k. Actually, this is a pretty good number compared to 1021k. But what I understand from this number is that it's more or less that a little bit looks as if subdued, not increasing, but it's really because of some higher prices in some states and the supply because of COVID. 19, not many people are building homes then, and right now they are trying to catch up, so there could be somewhat of a subdue, so may not have a big impact. We'll see how it goes, but usually the home sales for these 2 months or so may not have some impact because people know that it's actually more like of a supply rather than actual sales. Okay. Also, just remember, there's a RBNZ news and coming in on Wednesdays. Euro coming in. We probably going to have. Let's look at this core durable goods orders coming in now. For the same day, we're gonna have at 8:30 same timing GDP number. I will put more focus on the GDP numbers. Reason why? Because look at it this way: GDP numbers at 6.5%. That means there is some form. There's still continuous growth comparatively with the euro of a German economy in my negative. So really, the US economy, it is very strong. So looking at this number here, you will look at this really a lot recently. A lot of data has point on very strong economic activities, rising inflations here. Of course, employment numbers were not so good, but overall, it's really the US looks as if there is a lot of recovery coming in. Okay, we do know that the Fed is really relaxed about increasing interest rates. They want to have sustainable and consistent inflation going up, improvement before they talk about interest rate. So that they will not look to increase the interest rate anytime soon. They want the people to benefit the economy. But just take note of GDP. GDP numbers are really a key number. So if there's any surprises on this GDP number, that means you're going to get above 6.5% here, perhaps like 7, maybe 6.8 or 7%. You're going to really discuss about possible revision of discussion by the FOMC members, right? The policymakers. Now, what this is because they really have to incentivize themselves, because remember the previous FOMC meeting minutes, they were talking about a possible discussion looking into tapering asset purchases, if you remember that. So with these GDP numbers, it could be very bullish for the US dollar, because again, with all these good numbers, it may force the FOMC members here to really talk about pulling in, tapering asset, the purchases coming in, and this will cause the US dollar to be strengthened. So this on Thursday is a number as a day that you should look for in whether or not the US dollar could strengthen. Really active, interesting times on Thursday. Then on Friday, you have some French CPI data, GDP data. Again, I won't get any surprises. Actually, honestly, we will really prefer to see more for the euro. The overall euro GDP numbers and CPI number will have a bigger impact, because euro as a whole rather than a single country. So there may be some movements, of course, if any surprises, but usually not a big movement compared to the overall GDP numbers. And then coming on by Friday, 10 o'clock, you have the Michigan consumer sentiment coming in. It's still above 50, so it's still very bullish. But once again, if you do see I won't be surprised if you get a surprise number much beating better than the forecast of 82.9. Then what you will probably see again, that's like last week Friday, US dollar may strengthen. So it's something that we need to watch out for on this for this week here. Okay, then how do we look at this for Euro USD, right? Looking at the Euro USD, as Scott has mentioned, the index really it is reaching a plateau, a resistance block, unable to break above 1.2243, this level zone around here. And last night it did indeed goes back up. Now I won't be surprised looking at this. It will bounce off again like previously, really strong resistance here, bounce off, coming down and break down to go to a further drop down with the US dollar strengthening coming on a Thursday and Friday. If you see any surprises on the GDP, then what we'll probably be looking for is I'll probably be if it breaks below 1.2210. Okay, I'll probably go for a 30 pips stop loss and then go for first target. I will probably be going for 60 pips or 50 to 60 pips here on this level, or maybe even goes to 60 pips of take profit target. So 1:2 risk reward ratio before I even goes for a second part coming in. Those who are interested to take a look at the trade ideas, I place it up as well. If those have missed that number, you probably be looking at 1.21 2160 or 2150 if you have taken the trade with the first part. The second part 2150 here, you could go for probably like here 40 pip stop loss. Oh no, I think it's too much. You probably go for a 30 pip stop loss for a close to another 60 pip take profit. So two parts here right now, bouncing off the resistance of 1.2240, breaks down. We've got 34 sell trade of 30 pip stop loss, 60 pip take profit for part one, and then continue on. If it breaks below 1.2160, you can take a 2160 or 2150, take a trade for another 30 pip stop loss, 60 pip take profit. So that's for what you can see for the Euro USD. Okay, Jinwei.
All right, thanks for that, Daniel. I see that you have your self-stop orders going on. I believe you shared that with the LCMS Traders Club, right?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Maybe I will get you to talk a little bit more about LCMS Traders Club later. All right, so with the theme today being Euro, let's get Scott here again to share a little bit about the Euro Pound.
All right, it's hard to follow up after that comprehensive analysis, but I'll do my best as well. So Euro Pound, what I'll do to start with, let's just bring the chart up as well with Sam Trade here. So it's an interesting situation with Euro Pound. So we've got a situation where the pound is quite strong, the euro is quite strong. What Daniel mentioned again was with, obviously the US dollar, like that was discussed previously, is that we're going to have to wait a little bit for the news to come in, but anything that's going to be positive for the US dollar will see a lift in the US dollar. So what is going to be, the weaker currency? So that's what I like to think about in regards to the euro pound, trade idea. Now, obviously we've seen the euro pound, it's quite range bound with everything that's been going on with vaccine rollouts and the like. So what I did notice was that with the pound as well. So recently we did have I'll just bring up a point to note here. So last night, I think it was around 10 o'clock or so, we did have the Bank of England Governor Bailey, and he highlighted the recent influences in inflation are temporary. So there was chatter that there obviously could go negative, that that's not going to happen. And he assured the markets of that situation. So that obviously, helped stabilize because markets don't like uncertainty very much. Now, what I'm going to do now, just with the chart and what it's doing, and the levels that I've got up here as well are quite tied to each other as well. So this top level, I'm on the hourly chart here, we've got 86,490. So just to give an idea, that's around 25 pips or so. And then the downside is around 43 pips or so. So just to give context to where it is, we're approaching a resistance level. And what I'll do now is I'm going to share the EchoFin. All right. So what we've got up here, we've got up the upcoming situation. So with the euro, we've got, what I'm going to pay attention to is we've got gross domestic product. We've got a few releases at 2 p.m. GMT plus 8 time, which is something to pay attention to see how things react. So obviously, if you are out of this time zone, it can be a little bit difficult. So, I typically wait and want to be at the charts to see how the price action reacts as well. So, you know, right now, this time of day, we're not seeing much movement. But if I do bring up the 4-hour time frame, we can see that it's sort of basing, you know, we're at 86.25 or so. And it's a little bit of support established on the 1 hour. It's not very significant though, but if we see an uplift, I'm more short biased when it comes up to this resistance level at 86.49. So that's
Scott,
what I'm,
remember to share your chart. You're still at Ecofin, if I'm not wrong.
I'll just, sorry about that. So what I'm looking at is 86.49 for price to approach. I mean, the thing right now is if you've got no significant levels, it's just very unpredictable. I mean, you know, you could sell right now, but there's no clear probability there. So I want to wait for price to get back to a level of significance before jumping into a trade, because it's just very frustrating when, you know, price could just float around for a while until that news comes out, like I mentioned as well. So I'm just cycling down now for some more. We've got at midnight tonight, GMT +8, we've got the Bank of England Toreno speech. I probably mistakenly said that name, but 12 o'clock tonight, GMT +8 is what I'll be looking to monitor as well, just to see how price action reacts to that. But it's just a challenging situation with this one. And I think the higher probability setup is probably the one that Daniel mentioned. I mean, I love taking lots of trades, but sometimes you just have to leave certain setups. And those are my thoughts with the euro pound here.
Thanks to Daniel and Scott for the very comprehensive breakdown on the euro currencies and possible trade ideas. So again, a disclaimer here, the information shared here is not a trade recommendation. They are just opinions of the speakers. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. All right, so Daniel, as mentioned just now, I saw you entered a self-stop order. I believe you shared that at the webinar yesterday, maybe. If I'm not wrong. Can you just share a little bit about the Traders Club here?
Yeah, I shared that on the trade idea, and then at the webinar, I explained a little more yesterday. So yesterday, you know, in LCMS Traders Club, it's really, LCMS Traders Club is really a community of traders where we share ideas, you know, monitor the markets together, really as if we are a professional trading firm, sharing ideas, trading barters together. So yesterday we had a group coaching sessions, you know, so what we did was yesterday we I guide through the whole current market conditions from last week and what's going to happen this week and what could possibly move, as what I mentioned, US GDP coming on Thursday, some movements coming in, what can you prepare for? We identify trades and then try to make profit, and we would push to make profits together. So yesterday, you know, we really looked at the market. We formed trade ideas together. Lots of members were asking a lot of questions. Should you do this? Should you do that? Should I apply different strategies? And we make a decision, and then we make a decision together, or where possible entries we could do. Now, for example, like the Euro USD, we just saw just now. First of all, the trade idea. Maybe look here. The trade idea we formed first was the breakout below the 1.2160, but the price was moving up. So we again in the webinar we adjusted to an additional based on the price. Of course, this is still valid here, but we look at it and bounce off. Bounce off the resistance. And this strategy we came out last night. We guided the members, have a lot of discussion, and second came these setups here. So overall, you know, so we looking at it yesterday, the webinar, it's all LCMS Traders Club is all about making profits together. We will try to prepare ourselves. You not only earn money, you also learn how to make money together and to trade together. So it is a fantastic night yesterday, you know, for the group coaching session. So I hope everybody, those are Meridian members, do remember to join on a Monday and Wednesdays evening sessions where we can discuss and to have lots of trade ideas so you can have lots of trade opportunities. And those who are already not in the club, you could just go ahead and join us. Join us in the community. It's really the place to be if you want to trade properly and make money. Chinwei.
All right, thanks for that, Daniel. I pasted the links in the chat for the Traders Club link if you guys want it. want to join the community, it's just 49 a month, 49 USD a month. All right, so we have come to the end of this session. We will see you guys tomorrow for the pound analysis. Thank you so much and goodbye.